Hello everyone. In this semester, I am handling quantity surveying and contracts management. So, the five modules are basically divided into two segments. First three modules related to quantity surveying, and last two modules, module 4 and 5, is contracts management concepts. So, module 4 and 5 is comparatively easy than module 1, 2 and 3, and module 4 and 5 got majority of theory content than problems. So let's finish off module 4 and 5, which is independent to module 1 to 3, and then move on to module 1 and then 2 then 3. So comparatively module 4 and 5 requires less time for completion. So let's discuss, or let's start by module 4. So module 4, contracts management, tender and its process. As majority of you have heard or listened to the word tender while talking or in day-to-day phenomenon. So what do you mean by tender? This word is derived from Old French or Old French language, which is nothing but tendre. The meaning of the word is to offer. So to offer something to someone or to offer to somebody. So the first terminology we are going to discuss is invitation to tender. Invitation to tender. So invitation to tender is nothing but the initial step for competitive tendering. Why tendering is required? Why competition is required? If there is no competition at all, if there is monopoly, I mean monopoly is nothing but hold of someone on something in or in some domain, and there will be no competition at all. If there is competition between two or three people or two or three competitors, then the quality will be high in any particular market. If there is no competition and only monopoly is established in any field, then we can't expect quality in that particular domain. So for tendering process, invitation to tender is called for to increase the competition in tendering and to bring up the quality in a particular domain. And invitation is invited for suppliers and contractors regarding the goods and services department. So invitation tender is also abbreviated as ITT. They may ask you, or as we all know, module 10 is of miscellaneous nature. They can ask the question like, write a short note on ITT. So ITT in this area, we actually specifies what are the requirements of an organization. For example, if I am a builder or if I am a company called some XYZ, I want to build 1,000 number of residential houses, and I have some specification in mind. So while inviting a tender, I specify everything what I need, including the goods I need, including the services I need, and the timeline, mainly the timeline or time frame within which a project must be finished, or the work which is given is finished, or if I want some particular of kind of service, so to what amount of months or to what amount of year we require service. So what is the specific amount of time frame for which I need that particular service. For example, service in order to say maintenance staff or the security personnel or any third party inspection, those are all comes under service, and anything which he supplies in materialistic form, those are known as goods. So for both kind of works, or sorry, for both kind of procurements, we call or we invite tender. So in public, and one more thing, invitation to tender is also legal obligation in public sectors. So an invitation to tender also, along with specifying the requirements and types of services, goods and timeline, it also specify the kind of evaluation to be carried out along with it. So the next topic is pre-qualification of tender. What do you mean by pre-qualification, or why do we need pre-qualification? Pre-qualification is required in every department or in any domain. Pre-qualification is becoming like a must scenario. Without pre-qualification or pre-requisition, we are not going to move further. For example, if you are applying for any job, they will say, we are looking for a guy or a girl with a experience of 3 years in this particular domain, or should have been worked with some software for 3 years or for 2 years. For example, if you apply for teaching, they will ask for PhD and they will ask for 3 years or 5 years experience to meet their to fit in their institution. Just like that, in construction field also, we set some prerequisites which is known as pre-qualification for tender. They will invite the tender just for applying, or to apply for the tender you should have some pre-qualification. For example, they will specify one should have 5 years of experience in this particular field, one should have this number of excavators, and one should have 100 number of men in masonry domain, one should have skilled labor in this particular domain. So these are all collectively known as pre-qualification. And in for big works and for specialized work, they will, for example, if I am going to build any bridge or a dam, I don't want to hand it to any person who got no experience at all, or who got no prior knowledge about construction of dams or bridges, because it is going to incur a lot or a huge amount of capital or economy. So I don't want to waste my money. So everybody will pre-qualify or will specify what is the pre-qualification for applying to any tender. And pre-qualification is just like potential access for a tendering process. So to cut off the unwanted unwanted attentions and unwanted application, we specify pre-qualification, just like only class 1 tenders, class 1 contractors can apply, or only class 2 contractors can apply. So that we specify and we filter the things. We see out the things like this. So the next topic is administrative approval. What do you mean by administrative approval? Why do we need administrative approval? Because administrative approval is nothing but it is a formal acceptance by any concerned department, which is termed as administrative approval. For example, if we are going to start any work, we should have some particular regulations, or we should have some avoidance. For example, if I am a officer and if I am willing to do some development work, I will initiate some work, and if I got transferred, then the work will be held there itself, or nobody, if the another officer who comes up to my position may not proceed my work, or if there is no certain set of rules or certain set of approvals or channels is established earlier, then no construction work or no infrastructure work will be continued or will be processed in a well planned way. So in order to cut off the losses and cut off the wastages in resources, like maybe money and time, so we go for administrative approval. Before executing any specified work, we take the approvals regarding to the sum and regarding to the few technical aspects, which is called as administrative approval. Without administrative approval, we can't start any set of work except the repair works. Repair works doesn't need or do not need any kind of administrative approval except repair works. Every other kind of work or huge work should have administrative approvals. So the next topic is technical sanction. What do you mean by technical sanction, or why do we need technical sanction? After administrative approval, we also need technical sanction, because technical sanction will look into the subject deeply, and it's specified about detailed estimates and other preliminary surveys, everything. So technical sanction is usually done by superintending engineer, who is famously known as SE. So SE will approve the technical sanction, except the petty caches and repair works of small amount. Every other works or every bigger work need technical sanction by superintending engineer, and superintending engineer will approve or will sanction this or will sign to this technical sanction only when the things abide to the department specification. For example, as we all know, PWD, Public Works Department, or CPWD, Central Public Works Department, will have certain set of rules. If our work will meet the CPWD norms, then only will make the technical sanction. For example, any structural specification or anything which is specified by the Central PWD, the work or the estimate should meet the standards specified by the Central PWD in that particular domain. So what if it is not PWD, if it is any other department? If any other department, means the technical sanction is done by the officer with the power, or the power assigned, or it is specified by the officer with the concerned department with the power. So if it is PWD department, then the superintending engineer will approve. If it is any other department, the guy who is, or the person who is authorized or who is in power, will be approving the technical sanction. So regarding bid submission and evaluation process, we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.